So do you like? Do you like? Do you like? I felt like dressing up today. I felt like being just a little like, girly girl. And yeah, Otis, he doesn't even budge. He's like, okay. He doesn't even think, what's wrong with you? Or look and bark or do anything. He's not fazed one bit. So he knows I am who I am, regardless what I have on my head. This is what we're talking about today, everyone. This is really something that I think you'll find very interesting, only because it's kind of putting things into a perspective after we've had a chance to see some things. And the reason why I want to talk about this is to get a better understanding of the kind of person that we're talking about, who I feel is someone that has managed to do something extraordinary in history. A woman of color who is an American, hence my interest in all of this, has done something, even though we look at it as not being her being a good person, you have to look at how extraordinary this is. And I think having this perspective that I'm going to talk to you about really helps to understand it, because this all happened many years ago already, before she even met Harry, before Harry was even in the picture. Before he was even in the picture, this woman was honing her skills, honing them, really trying to be the one to refine that skill that a woman can use to help get what she wants. And you have to think, hey, the girl, at least she did some homework. At least she tried to go, like sharpen up her tools in her toolbox. So Meghan Markle's former high school friend wants her to apologize for some hurtful actions. Because before Harry, she had done the exact same thing, the manipulation, the seducing, the seduction, the trying to get what she wants. She practiced these skills before she even met Harry. So here's the thing. I want you to know who this show, Shaws of Sunset. This is a show that follows a group of 6 Persian American friends in Los Angeles who try to judge their active social lives and careers while also balancing the demands of their families and traditions. Okay, so this is a gentleman that was actually on this show who knew Meghan Markle from when they were in their teenage years. And what is so interesting about this relationship that Meghan had with him, she knew him, but she also had an actual relationship with someone else. And I'm going to be talking to you about these 2 men when she was younger, when she was in high school. I want you to understand the story around the gentleman that she actually had these practice skills with, or how she practiced the manipulation of trying to get this man, the seduction of it all. This is the article. So they say you never truly get over your first love. And that looks to be the case for Meghan Markle's former high school classmate, who says Prince Harry's wife toyed with his emotions while at school. Now remember, they're young kids. They're like 14, 15 years old. And we all know that girls, mentally, they're a lot more advanced in their thinking than boys. So a young boy around 14, 15 is a lot of times, easily manipulated. Naima Vaughn, he was a star on this show I just told you about, Shaws of Sunset. So he also knew Meghan Markle when the 2 were teens in Los Angeles. And he opened up on a podcast in 2020 about what the former royal was really like. So he says that he went to an all-boys high school, and one of our sister schools was Meghan's school. Then also, while appearing on the reality Life with Kate Casey, according to page 6, he grew up with her. He says that they were friends for a very long time. She was a year older than him. Meghan, he said, was amazing. She was essentially a woman among girls. Everyone was in love with her. Everyone saw her and was in love with her. Okay, so Markle was born and raised in LA, we know. And in the episode of her now canceled podcast, Archetypes, she took a trip down memory lane when she went to visit her former high school, the Immaculate Heart High School, which she attended from ages 12 to 17. Now, Van, who is now, well, at the time, 39, he's like 41 now, admitted that Markle, as a teenager, was a little bit of a game player when it came to boys. But, or at least, that's how he looked at it. He saw her as somebody that was playing games with the emotions of boys. She knew what she was doing, he said. She toyed with our hearts masterfully. We were at a party one time where she sat down on my lap. She sat on his lap. And she got up to him, nose to nose with him. Like nose to nose. Okay? And he was, at the time, 16 years old. And he says that this was a very emotional moment for him. Because I can imagine a 16-year-old boy, a girl coming over to you that you've looked at and thought, oh, she's so cute, I like her. And then she comes over to you at a party, sits on your lap, and puts her nose to your nose. Can you imagine what that would do to a 16-year-old boy? A lot of things, I'm sure. Okay. And she said to him in Farsi, his language, "You are so beautiful." And then he had asked her, he said, how did you know how to say that in Farsi? And then she said, "I learned it for you." And then she got up and she walked away. Can you imagine what the boy was saying, the future, the wannabe man at this moment was saying? Because we're playing with man emotions right now. This is stuff that grown men do with women. Can you imagine a 16-year-old kid having a girl that he is really infatuated with comes and sits down on his lap and says to him in his native language, "You are so beautiful," nose to nose with him. And then he says, "How do you know this?" And then she says, "I learned it for you." And then she gets up and she walks away. This is masterclass manipulation, folks. Okay. Okay. And then he goes on to say, "I like to hope that Meghan Markle is watching Shahs of Sunset. And I like to hope that she tells that almost make-out story as authentically as I do," he joked. He also used the podcast to defend his and Markle's mutual friend, Gabe, who he claims the former Suits star really upset. He seems to think that Markle owes Gabe an apology because of what she did to him. So these are two boys that knew her growing up, and things changed earlier, and they have their recollections from their childhood about this woman. And you would almost think more people would have come forward by now to talk about their past relationships with Meghan. But you can imagine that perhaps maybe they might be a little bit insecure about seeing how she treated them when they were younger. Because no man wants to, look at the fact that perhaps maybe he was toyed with. So as we can see from both of the friends that we have, Van, the one that she knew growing up, who ended up on the show, Shahs of Sunset, and then Gabe, a friend, someone that she had went to high school with, dated with. She was still very good friends with him all the way up until she was on Suits, and then she ghosted him. And, he's been ever since very hurt by that. We know that also her ex-husband, Trevor, has felt the same way, completely shocked, obliterated. What happened? We were married. All of a sudden, you want a divorce. There are all of these elements that we are seeing in these two past men, and then also the friend Van on the show, Shah of Sunset. So these are the men that we know about. Imagine the men that we don't even know about. Meghan had taken this skill set, something that she practiced on with these young men, these teenage men. In her head, she was much older. She was like a woman amongst these boys. And she practiced her seduction. She practiced using and manipulating and seeing how far she could get. We've even heard stories of her being on a yacht. I don't know what you do on a yacht. What you do? We just know that there is a history. There is a way of manipulating, trying to get what you want. The problem for Meghan is she's used this skill set, something that she's very good at. Let's just keep it real. She nabbed a prince. But now what? Now what? Her skill set has only taken her so far. It has not taken her to a place where she can elevate this skill set to a whole nother level, because the man she nabbed, he don't have anything to offer, especially in the world that she's trying to break into. Now, her first husband, he was the one that could really, truly help her, and she just got rid of him. She could have had more of a future, a molding, coming together of like minds in the entertainment industry had she stayed with Trevor. But now that she's in Hollywood, she's amongst people who require some talent. You're going to get a job, you're going to get something. You've already got the relationship, the way to meet people and to get in the door. But now what? The skill set of actually doing the work and being good at it it's not there. She has reached the pinnacle of her abilities. Her success of doing what she is doing got her to where she is now with Prince Harry. And this is where the road ends for her. She can't go any further with this skill set. And now she's looking at Harry saying, okay, what you gonna do? What now? What else can you do for me? And Harry's just looking dumbfounded. Well, you married me. And that's essentially where it ends. She married the prince that can't do anything for her. And this is how we know the end is in sight for Harry, because of how we have seen the manipulation, the masterful cunning and manipulation of past men, and how once she gets what she wants, is on to the next one. And it's only a matter of time for Harry. A matter of time.